Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Edes Vlog. For today's video, I'm gonna tackle to you guys what is dangling modifiers. So first, let me show you this sentence. Let's read together. Fumbling in her purse, the keys could not be found. So what did you observe in the sentence? Is the sentence correct? If you are thinking that the sentence is wrong, you are very correct. So why is the sentence is incorrect? Because the intended subject of the modifier is missing from the sentence, and instead, another subject appears in its place. So let me show you the correct sentence and try to observe what is the difference. The correct sentence is, fumbling in her purse, she could not find the keys. As you can see, the sentence is now completely different because of the adding she, a pronoun, to the sentence, which is the subject modifier that are missing from the sentence in the very beginning. For further explanation, let me define to you guys what is a dangling modifiers, then how to recognize dangling modifiers, and how to fix dangling modifiers. So what is dangling modifiers? A dangling modifiers is a word, phrase, or clause that describes something that has been left out of the sentence. When there is nothing that the word, phrase, or clause can modify, the modifier is said to dangle. Example: riding in the sports car, the world whizzed by rapidly. The correct answer is, as Jane was riding in the sports car, the world whizzed by rapidly. In the incorrect sentence, riding in the sports car is dangling. The reader is left wondering who is riding in the sports car. The writer must tell the reader. Another example is, walking home at night, the trees look like spooky aliens. Correct answer is, as Jonas was walking home at night, the trees look like spooky aliens, or the trees look like spooky aliens as Jonas was walking home at night. For the last example, to win the spelling bee, Luis and Gerald should join our team. The correct answer is, if we want to win the spelling bee this year, Luis and Gerald should join our team. In the incorrect sentence, to win the spelling bee is dangling. Who wants to win the spelling bee? We do. How to recognize dangling modifiers? Recognizing dangling modifiers, the subject that is modified should immediately follow with a comma after the modifier. For example, the introductory phrase modifies Jane, the subject of the main clause. While driving to work, comma, Jane witnessed a car accident on the highway. When the sentence does not clearly state the subject being modified, the introductory phrase becomes a dangling modifiers. Example: while driving to work, a car accident was witnessed on the highway. In this sentence, the intended target of the modifier Jane is missing. Because of car accident appears where the subject should be, the sentence now suggests that a car accident was driving to work. This is an example of how dangling modifiers can result in nonsensical sentences. Notes about dangling modifiers. Unlike a misplaced modifier, a dangling modifier cannot be corrected by simply moving it to a different place in a sentence. In most cases, the dangling modifiers appears at the beginning of the sentence, although it can also come at the end. Example: having been fixed the night before, Priscilla could use the car. Corrected to, Since the car had been fixed the night before, Priscilla could use it. Since having been fixed the night before is placed next to Priscilla, the sentence means that Priscilla was fixed the night before. As for the example has shown, dangling modifiers result in inaccurate and sometimes ludicrous statements. So how to correct dangling modifiers? We have correction method number 1 and correction method number 2. Correction method number 1. Number 1. Leave the modifier as it is. 2. Change the main part of the sentence so that it begins with the term actually modified. 3. This change will put the modifier next to the term it modifies. Example: walking to the movies, the cloud-burst drenched Jim. Corrected to: walking to the movies, Jim was drenched cloud-burst. Correction method number 2. 1. Change the dangling modifier praise to a subordinate clause, creating a subject and a verb. 2. Leave the rest of the sentence as it is. Example: when 9 years old, my mother enrolled in medical school. Corrected to: when I was 9 years old, my mother enrolled in medical school. So I'm done explaining to you guys what is dangling modifiers, how to recognize dangling modifiers, and how to correct dangling modifiers. So now let's proceed for the exercises. Number 1. Having arrived late for practice, a written excuse was needed. Is the sentence is correct? Wrong. Because of the dangling modifiers, a written excuse. Who arrived late? The sentence says that the written excuse arrived late. To revise, decide who actually arrived late. The possible revision might look like this. Having arrived late for practice, the team captain needed a written excuse. The main clause now names the person, which is the captain, who did the action in the modifying phrase, which is arrive late. Number 2. Without knowing his name, it was difficult to introduce him. Is the sentence correct? Wrong again. Why? Because of the dangling modifiers it. Who didn't know his name? This sentence says that it didn't know his name. To revise, decide who was trying to introduce him, the revision might look something like this. Because Maria did not know his name, it was difficult to introduce him. The phrase is now a complete introductory clause. It does not modify any other part of the sentence, so it is not considered dangling. Last, number 3. To improve his results, the experiment was done again. So is the sentence correct? Wrong again. Why? Because of the dangling modifiers, the experiment. Who wanted to improve results? This sentence says that the experiment was trying to improve its own results. To revise, combine the phrase and the main clause into one sentence. The revision might look something like this. He improved his results by doing the experiments again. As you observe, some sentences is kinda confusing because we thought the sentence is already correct, but it isn't. So we better need to think carefully and analyze the sentence if it is correct, completed, or not. So how many correct answers did you get, guys? I hope you all got the correct answers for our exercises that I had prepared for today. Reminders, guys, that dangling modifiers is often, though not always, found at the beginning of the sentence. A dangling modifier is usually a phrase or an elliptical clause, or a dependent clause, whose subject and verb are implied rather than expressed, that functions as an adjective but does not modify any specific word in the sentence, or worse, modify the wrong word. And that's all for today, guys. I hope you learned something from this video, and thank you so much for listening to me from the very beginning up to this moment. Again, welcome to my channel, and this is Edes Vlog.